Welcome to the Jeffers Brief, only on Contra Radio Network.
All right, welcome to a special edition of the Jeffers Brief. I'm John Jeffers. Today, first of all, my guest will be Terry Kaas. Let me get him on the horn here. Dum-da-dum-da-dum. Okay. Terry, it's Grandma.
Howdy.
It's Grandma.
Hello, Grandma. Did you take your medicine today?
No.
You're not...
All right. Everybody, this is Terry Kaas. Not only is he, Terry joined CRN back in 2014 when I was first starting. And not only has he been a friend of CRN, he's also a financial supporter of CRN. So when Terry tells me, hey, I want to get in on this thing with the coronavirus, I say yes. Yes, yes, yes. So, one of the things that Terry and I were messaging about was about the CDC urgent warning. And apparently, it appears that the FDA has said that it will become a pandemic. And that's just breaking about an hour ago.
Yeah, they said it's not a matter of if, but when. I also believe that statement is not just for this turn of events because, for one, this thing can mutate. Just like the 1918 flu, it came off in 3 different waves. People thought, okay, it's over. Nope, it hit again, and then it came over, and then it hit again a third time minorly. So this coronavirus will eventually mutate and hit the world again.
Yep.
in a different version, coronavirus 2.0, and if it's not this, it's going to be something else in the future. So it's just inevitable that this will happen sooner or later.
I can't argue with that. I would agree with you. The virus, I believe, if it hasn't already, it's going to mutate to an airborne status. And I believe you're absolutely right. It will mutate, and it'll become a different form of itself. It will strike again and again. So, everybody's talking about, they've got a vaccine. They'll have it ready in, 6 weeks. No, those are just the human trials. And then it's only if it works. It may not work.
Well, just like the regular flu, what we call the regular flu, it's the same thing. Every year or every couple of years, they got another mixture of what they predict will be the leading cause of the flu.
They're trying to tell the future to see how it's going to mutate and then try to get a vaccine to fit the mutation. That's all.
So,
essentially you're gambling.
Yeah. And there are some reports, I forget where it was, the WHO or something, I can't remember who said it. Somebody saying that it's going to hit 60% of the world, and we'll get this just like the flu spreads.
Right.
But the difference is the mortality rates are higher. And now, for one time, and our listeners are in for a treat, I'm going to disagree with you.
What?
Yeah, I want to come on here and I'm going to disagree with you, respectively disagree.
No, you're allowed to. Go ahead.
Now, you said in the last podcast that the flu in the U.S. has killed over 10,000 people this year.
This season.
True.
Correct.
True. And yeah, has it killed more? Yeah. So which one's more dangerous? Well, you might say the flu, the common flu. That's true. But the mortality rates and the R naught values, which is how many people are you spreading it to?
Right.
R naught value of 1 means on average, I'm spreading it to 1 person. R naught value of 3, I'm spreading it out to 3 people. So what's the multiplying factor of 1 person to other people?
Right. The R naught.
The R naught values are almost unpredictable right now because they're trying to get a hold on it, and that's what happens when you have something new. But the common flu has a mortality rate of say between 1.5 and 1.9, right?
Okay.
So, and then it's like percent, I guess. If you have the SARS was I think 4.
Yeah.
But that took 2 years
Right.
to get that number, and this situation now is, according to reports, because and we'll talk about trust value in those reports, but they're looking at 3, upwards of 3 percent mortality rate. Now, this is much stronger per the percentage of people that are contracting this illness, as opposed to the common flu. You know, it's deadlier. It hasn't spread as much as the common flu, which is vastly, 10,000 people might have gotten it, but probably 200,000 or 300,000 or more, or maybe 1 million. I don't even know what that number is, have gotten the flu and
Right.
didn't die.
Right.
So that's a huge difference. It is apples to apples, but it's a green apple to a red apple, and it's like
Ooh, I like that one. A green apple to a red apple.
yeah, I mean it's apples to apples, but it's a green apple to a red apple. So it's like one has killed more, but it's a whole lot more widespread.
Right.
And that's why the SARS virus killed a lot of people, but it had 2 years to get that way. We've already passed a number of deaths with the coronavirus, and that's only been since December when they first detected it. Actually, November when they detected it.
I would say November because they detected it. They just kept it to themselves.
Yeah. When they first looked at it before it even hit any reports,
They had no idea what they were looking at. They had no clue what they were looking at. That's why they kept it under wraps. What the hell are we looking at here?
Yeah. Well, anyways, and so yes, I respectfully disagree. I believe, and with a caveat of I'm not trying to fearmonger.
Yes, you
I
are.
am not trying to. No, I'm not trying to. I don't want people to be scared.
No,
I don't.
Don't be.
I don't want people to be scared. I don't want you to vastly change your life where you are in fear of everything. It's just be smart. That's
Right.
all.
Be smart.
Don't be scared. Be smart. Okay. You need to prepare. We've been talking about this for years.
We have.
Of how
beat me
you
to
need
it.
to prepare, and how all right. Let's look at it like this.
I'm listening.
The type of supplies that you need for coronavirus. Masks. Masks. Surgical masks are effective to a point, but they're more effective if you're the one sick and you don't want other people getting sick, say like tuberculosis, and you're in a hospital. Okay? They tell you need to wear a mask because you got a communicable disease. But they don't tell everybody in a hospital to wear masks. It's the person that's sick. Why? Because the humidity, the droplets in your voice, in your breathing, is transmitted, and the mask will likely catch a lot of that. But will it help you from getting sick from other people? Likely not, because of the airways, the gaps that it has in your mask, and you will be breathing it in. It's the breathing out part is the most beneficial. People that are doing surgeons and nurses that are in surgery and all wear masks. It's not because the patient is emitting a disease and they're scared of it. It's because they don't want to transmit any bacteria or virus that could help infect the patient. It's all to protect the patient, not to protect the doctors or nurses. Okay, so this is what people need to understand about the surgical type masks. Also, you need to know how to wear them. The color side goes on the outside.
There you go.
The color, I'll say it again, the color, whether it's green or blue, goes on the outside. Okay. There's a reason for that. Is because they're layered. Okay, they're like triple layered, I believe. And the part that's closest to your face, the white part, is a humidity grabber. It absorbs the humidity. The part on the outside is more water. What do you call it? Water repellent type deal. Mm-hmm. So like if something does splash on you, etc., whatever, I don't know. And so then we move on to N95 or N100 masks. And those are actually to help protect you. Well, they go both ways. They also protect you from infecting others the same way, but it also helps to protect you from others, because you don't want to inhale or be contracting this illness, the virus. So it blocks 95%, and but it also greatly reduces the how much oxygen you're getting. So you got to be careful of people that need more oxygen than others. Then you need to what do you call it? You need to stretch out your times that you're wearing them because of the oxygen value. You have to take care of yourself. In other words, you can't wear them for 8 hours a day. You got to be careful that you're not getting. It's like sleep apnea. Sleep apnea, biggest problem is because the body's you're not breathing in enough oxygen, and so you wake up with a headache, or you wake up you're not sleepy, or you're not rested enough and stuff like that, and it's very bad for you. And then you can go all the way to respirators. Respirators, probably the greatest value because it actually seals to your face.
Right.
But men and some women that have mustaches, you need to shave. You cannot have beards.
You can't have gaps.
Right. I mean, you just can't have these things. You have to shave so that it has the proper seal. And that gives you the greatest value. But realistically, walking around with the respirators is a bit overkill right now. We're not at that point.
Right, we're not at that point. But doesn't mean you don't have them in your supply catch.
But I guarantee you that if I was, or my wife was working in a ward that had to take care of somebody who does have coronavirus or even suspected, I'd say you're wearing a respirator.
She would be made to. They're not.
I would spend that money because it's worth it.
They're wearing the NBC suits in there basically.
Yeah.
When they're doing that.
I would.
Which brings me to a point that you touched on, and you did not expand upon it, so I have to do it for you.
Oh, okay.
How many times do we have to tell you, prep, You should have had this stuff already. I told you 3 weeks ago, maybe 4. Order your stuff now. Don't wait. Now, Terry and I have been watching this. South Korea and Hong Kong, they are going crazy at their stores. They're buying up stuff right and left. Milan, Italy. They've got pictures. Grocery store shelves empty, and they're not being resupplied. You need to do this now. You should have done it yesterday, 3 weeks ago. As a matter of fact, Terry, we got Valley Food Storage, one of our affiliates here at CRN. I checked on them yesterday. They are reporting a run on their inventories. That's just for food. So you need to get it taken care of right away. What are you doing?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you?
God, everybody heard. What are you doing? I don't even want to know. It's probably immoral. Whatever.
Yeah, no. Yes, because now, we talked about that a month ago when I was still in Thailand.
Right.
And how the Chinese were buying it up. Why? Because they don't even have the supplies, and they're the ones who make the majority of all masks in the world. We get our masks from China.
Well,
the majority.
They're manufactured there, yeah. And guess what? The supply lines there have become fractured.
Yes.
And I think I guess some of the companies are looking to Vietnam and India to try to repair the fracture, and I don't think they can do it. At least not in the amount of time they have.
And that's just masks. We also get a lot of our antibiotics and medications from China. We get those big white suits that you see.
Yeah.
We get those from China. We get a lot of stuff from China. You know what I mean? Why? Because it's the lowest bidder.
Right.
And hospitals and governments are always trying to save money and pinch a penny.
Right.
And put $1 in. They pinch a penny, but they put $1 in their pocket. How's that? Put that one on Facebook.
Hey,
and
if you're a shareholder, you're okay with that.
Yeah. But
what?
anyways, a lot of our manufacturing has left the country, and that's one of the biggest cries that a lot of people have been yelling for decades, actually. And here now, maybe we're going to see roosters come home to roost.
It's very possible. And you know what? This has been, and you're right. It's this president who said, come back to America manufacturing. If you don't, we're going to put a tariff on you. They've come home. Now, is it soon enough? I don't know. I don't know.
It's like a one-man army. That's what Trump is.
Yeah.
So anyways,
we've been telling you people for a long time, get your food and water supply, because if this thing hits, when it hits, you don't want to be wandering around outside. You don't want to go to the store and maybe what you're looking for, they're out of. And they're not going to be coming, resupply isn't coming right away. You don't want to be out there.
Every time that there's an emergency situation,
right,
the stores run low, they're run out, or the prices, especially the black market prices, like people scalping tickets, prices go up. Okay, the same thing happened with the 22 ammo. Okay.
Oh God,
let's take that.
Yeah, excellent.
Take the 22 ammo, for example. Why? Because of regulations, fear of Obama, and all the things that were going on. Was there a shortage? No. But there was a run on the 22 ammo. 22 ammo skyrocketed.
Right.
It became 3, 4, even 5 times the original price. And then people are lining up at Walmarts and other stores trying to buy ammo. They knew when the truck was coming in, and they were lining up trying to get 22 ammo. And, did this hillbilly get ammo? Hell yeah, I got ammo. I got ammo when I could. When prices went down, I loaded up. I ain't going to say how much ammo I got, but I'm just saying I got enough for my grandchildren. And you gotta think about when supplies run low, like when there's a run on supplies. Why do you think, like you mentioned, the grocery stores in Italy are running bare on a lot of shelves, right?
Yeah.
Why? Because there's a just-in-time inventory. It's not like they stock this stuff in big warehouses right in the back room. No, they just have enough in the back room to restock shelves until the next truck comes.
Right. 3 days.
They time it. Yeah, they time it all out. So that's why the shelves were empty, because they don't have enough to supply everybody now. Now, immediately, they need the next supply. Now, when you have supply disruptions going on in China and other countries, right? Then, like South Korea, we also get a lot of supply from South Korea. You have a supply disruption like that, you may not see it here, but it's happening over there. There's shipping containers and other trucks and stuff like that. They're only leaving like 1/4 full. 1/3 of their volume, because for one thing, the factories are not working at full capacity, and second, a lot of people don't want to travel in to these areas to pick it up. The travel restrictions, right, are also stopping them. So there is a huge gap in supply lines. And even here now, people are getting smart. They're trying to buy masks and stuff. I was just at my local Lowe's, and they said, yeah, we have some. They went there, and they said, oh, they're all gone again.
Mm-hmm. Had the same thing happen to me over at Menards. The same thing.
So I talked to the manager, and I said, look, you're gonna have to start looking at these things as a macro management type of thing between you and the district managers and everybody. You're also going to have to start getting masks available for your employees, just in case. You might want to think about pushing more on certain inventories. Which brings me back to what I was saying before. What kind of supplies do you need for an epidemic, pandemic, or whatever? Masks. There you go. We beat that one in the ground. If you don't have any, go get some. If you don't, and if you think it's not necessary, you're a fool.
Better be safe than sorry. And yes, say it again, Terry.
You're a fool, because look, let's say you don't need it. Any of these supplies that I'm going to mention, masks, plastic, duct tape, bleach, even. There's a lot of things. They don't expire.
Right.
Okay, so if you have, let's say, masks and gloves and eye goggles, okay, fine. Wrap it up in a clean plastic bag, put it in a box somewhere, and store it, because it won't go bad. Okay, it can freeze and it can come back and you still have it. It's fine. Just store it in a cool, dry place, and if you do need it, you have it. Do you think you buy a lot of ammo, is it going to go bad? Not if you store it correctly. You have a lot of guns, they'll stay a long time, generations, if you store it properly. Okay, there's a lot of things that don't expire. Okay, so have it and just keep it, because it's the smart thing to do. It's better to have it, not need it, et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah. So what other supplies do you need? Goggles, in case it's airborne, and water droplets can hit you in your glass, in your eye.
Hood.
Rubber gloves. You can go to Harbor Freight, Menards, Lowe's, Home Depot, whatever, and buy you some regular gloves like you use for surgery or for the kitchen.
Latex gloves.
Latex gloves. And buy these things and have it available.
Right.
It's also smart in case there's a medical emergency. Okay.
And don't forget, here, the last episode I published it yesterday. You know what? You got to have at least a 90-day supply of food and water. You don't need fresh food.
No, I mean, we can go out to the store and buy food.
Right.
You can buy canned foods.
Right.
And you can go anywhere from 90 days to a year easily. Just go buy it. It's okay. And in the meantime, we can eat well. We're fine. We're okay. We're not at that point. So just make a pantry. If you're not making a pantry, geez, I live in an apartment in a big city.
So what?
You can still put some food. I took a regular, it's kind of like a large tote bin.
Yeah.
And I filled in Thailand, and I filled it with rice and canned fish, canned meat like Spam that we brought from the States on purpose for my mother-in-law, and dry noodles, some spice, and some things like that, and as much toilet paper as I can put in to fill it up.
Right.
Any space I could. It's just a tote bin. But for those two in their 70s old people, that food will last them 3 or 4 months.
Easily. And
it's hidden it's in the kitchen, on a bottom cabinet, in the back, and it's like, in emergencies, if something happens, you're not going to be able to go to the stores.
Right.
We want you to, when it comes time you have to stay home, you have this. Don't touch it. It can stay for another year until we come back next winter. And if we don't use it, great. We'll just eat that, and then I will replenish it with new supplies. That's rotating stocks. We can do that in America easily.
Easily. It's unbelievable.
So, and we're all smart enough. So, don't tell me you can't keep 3 months worth of food. Beans, rice, water filter, some canned goods, toilet paper. Better have toilet paper.
You can get canned corned beef. You can get hash. Everything is canned. And it's okay. Oh, by the way, Terry, this is just crossing. Here it is. This is coming out of England. Today, it was just published at 5:42 their time. Health officials refuse to rule out shutting down entire towns if the coronavirus breaks out in the UK. This is a worst-case government report. It warns 80% of the population could get infected and 500,000 may die amid the explosion of infections across Europe. Now, this brings me to our next point, and Terry, you're going to love this. Listen up to me, my friends, my fellow preppers, my listeners, my smart people, members of the intelligentsia who listen to this show. Listen carefully. This is what's going to happen here. If you start seeing government leaders disappearing from the television, it's because they're in hiding. That's a sign that bad juju is coming down the pipe, and you better get ready.
Oh, it's coming fast. If you that's true. Like in England, they start locking away the Queen or Parliament.
When government officials start disappearing from TV, and believe me, they're all media whores. They are all media whores. You know what? You don't believe me? Case in point, that goofy Schiff. You drag out a camera, and that fool's standing in front of you. When you see them stop jumping in front of the camera, that's a clue. Take it. It's something you need to be aware of, something you need to watch for.
And when we see it, we're definitely going to get on the horn. We're going to say it right here. And, we're going to scream it from the rooftops. Hey, do you know what's going on?
Right. Well, I don't see how we can't do it. Now, one thing. Now, the good thing is this, my friends. Listen up. This is good. Chances are your electricity will still be on. If the pandemic hits, the electricity will still be on, at least for a while. Now, for how long that lasts, I don't know, but it shouldn't affect the electric supply. So think
Right.
about that.
Or water or sewage. Trash might be a different story
Right?
if you think about it. You know,
No,
that could break down, but you know, you're just gonna have to start being smart with how much trash you need to build up and where you need to put it.
No, you're right, and that's important. Also, my friends, make sure. Now, one thing that will probably go into shortage: gasoline. You're gonna need to keep up on this, so when the time comes, you may have to top off your tank and make it last. I don't see how you cannot do it.
Yeah, I keep what is it called? My God, I can't think of it. It's that stuff I put in diesel, especially over winter.
What? You're talking about the anti gel.
Yeah.
Yes, I have
Oh,
that
damn,
for
I
my
can't.
diesel. I got that for my diesel.
What's the name of that stuff? God, I can't think of it now.
There's two of them out there. One is Power Stroke, and there's another one out there that I've got in my truck right now. And I can't even think of the. I've only bought it a couple times, and it works absolutely great. Never had a problem with the diesel. It's not. Is it Hanalin's? It might be Hanalin. You can get it over at AutoZone for like. You get like a quart of it for like 10, 15 bucks. And you don't use that much. So, but they'll keep your diesel fuel from gelling in the cold weather. And you got to have it.
Yeah, stable is one.
Stable. Oh, you may be talking about Seafoam?
Seafoam. God, there you go. Look, they sell them.
That's not what I'm talking about.
I can't think of it. So much for farmers. If only I had Mike Bloomberg. You know, he's an expert in farming now.
He is. I know. He's played Farmville a lot.
So like,
He hasn't got the brains God gave trees.
Yeah. If you have that, and they sell them in the gallon size jugs, I buy them in a gallon size metal jug, right? And I keep that. I keep that on hand at all times. I always have at least 1 gallon in the ready, and then I'll use that gallon when I buy another gallon. You know what I mean? So I rotate it, and I keep it for 2 things. One, it helps keep my engines clean, especially my tractor, and 2, in case something happens and we need to stock up on fuel, and you need to store away, I don't know, as many gas cans, as much fuel as you can hold.
Yeah, stable.
And then so you put a fuel stabilizer in there to help keep it for long periods of time.
Keep it fresh.
Right, as long as possible. So, and keep that in your storage, because that is valuable to help keep the fuel fresh, so that you can have it 6 months down the line,
right,
without so much of a problem, especially in the wintertime if it happens over the winter. Imagine winter and you don't have the heat to keep your nice warm garage, and you run a diesel, fuel gels and stuff like that goes bad. Gasoline goes bad. You can't use chainsaws so much, things like that. So anyways, yeah, I keep that on hand at all times. Now,
this is
what I'm trying to say that I am so adamant about is that I'm putting a word out, and you see my Facebook. I put the word out, and some people think it's funny. They think I'm foolish, and they think it's just fear mongering, whatever. I say it like this: look, countries around the world. This has nothing to do with the politics of here. All right, leave that to the Schumers in Congress, these fuckers. So, this has nothing to do with politics.
No, it doesn't.
It has nothing to do with any level of that. This is affecting countries around the world, and it's serious. And look at the effort that other countries are doing. Why? Because it's so the possibilities of it are great. We're trying. If they weren't doing what they were doing, it would be it would destroy China. If they weren't taking the measures that they are doing right now, China would be a third world country all over again.
The Chinese aren't playing games with their lockdown. And neither is North Korea. North Korea will take you out in the street and shoot you. I mean, they are not screwing around.
Yeah, they'll throw you in a hole, shoot you, and bury you right there.
And not think twice about it. It looks like Chuck Schumer has requested $8.5 billion for coronavirus emergency funding. $8.5 billion. Billion with a B.
That's see what I said? They pinch a penny and they put $1 in their pocket.
I mean, that's
people.
I know.
Don't get me started. Don't get me started.
I'm going to get you fired up.
I hate these people.
We all hate them.
And it has nothing to do with because they're Democrats. Honest to God, you show me a Republican or anybody conservative that is doing a corruption or something, or paybacks, kickbacks, anything, wasting money, and I will call them out in a heartbeat. I have no problem. I just put something on Facebook saying that I don't mind paying more in taxes. I really don't.
Fine.
You want to push our taxes up to 60%? I'll do it. I would agree to it if you had a legitimate plan to fix everything. And yes, we can fix everything, but it has to be without the stupid liberal programs. And socialism, liberalism, and communism is the opposite way we need to go. So we have too much corruption, too much waste in our government. I can't trust them. That's why I don't agree to have high taxes, because they can't even get their own shit together.
You know what? If you want to pay more taxes, then write a check to the Treasury Department. Put on the public debt.
I don't mind.
You can write as many checks as you want if you want to pay more taxes. To ask us to pay extra, screw you. By the way, 8 minutes ago, there are 83 people in Long Island being monitored for coronavirus concerns. 83. And I'll tell you, you talk about, it's like, Terry's talking about the R not factor. Imagine if that gets loose in New York. Imagine that. And New York is, if you've done any flying, you got LaGuardia and you got Kennedy airports there, and they're constantly busy. Flights coming in everywhere, all over the planet. And they leave to go all over the planet. You want to see an airport shut down so fast their head will spin. And this happened. Well, Terry, you were in Seoul at their large. It was at Gimpo Airport.
Yeah. We flew from Chiang Mai, Thailand, which is northern Thailand International Airport, to Seoul, Korea, and through their international airport, my wife scheduled a 19 hours stayover in Korea so she can go shopping.
Oh.
Isn't that nice?
Isn't that special? I want to go shopping.
So she wanted to go shopping, so we went fucking shopping. So so we went shopping, but that was back. We scheduled this trip back in September.
Right.
We didn't know anything about it, and then when we were in Thailand is when we found out about the coronavirus. So we tried to reschedule, but they were like, "No, can't do it," because everybody's wanting to move out. You know, South Korea was not hit back then. They only had like a 2 or 3 cases at the time,
I think.
but a lot of people were wearing masks.
Let me ask you this: what did the terminal look like, Terry, when you got there? An international terminal at Seoul, Korea, an international city. What did the terminal
Nothing like we saw in America. Well, once we hit Atlanta,
yeah,
nobody's wearing masks. So, nobody. And that was an international airport in Atlanta. And we never saw anybody wear masks in America. But in Korea, in Thailand, everybody, just like I would say at least 95% of everybody was wearing masks, had a mask to wear. And we wore masks, and we washed our hands like we were emergency room surgeons.
Well,
We,
absolutely.
my hands have never been so clean in my whole life, I swear. And we used hand sanitizer too, on top of
We
everything.
know where your hands
We
have been, bastard.
we stay and we stayed away from crowds. We tried to be as smart as possible, really.
Well, yeah.
And luckily we passed through there. We're fine. We self-quarantined ourselves for 2 weeks when we got home. Why? Not because we're sick, but because we didn't want to take the chance of infecting any of our loved ones, our friends and family, because the latency time before you actually feel sick was like 2 to 3 weeks, or between 2 to 3 weeks. So we didn't know if we were sick. We just passed through international airports through Asia to get to the United States. We could have gotten sick 2 weeks later, so
You were being responsible.
yeah, that's all. Just being, and I put that word out as soon as we knew what the story was.
Well, you and I were talking about a week before you left, and I asked you, I said, do you know about this? Have you heard about it?
Yeah.
By the way, Greece and Brazil have now reported their first case of the coronavirus today.
It'll eventually be in every country.
It's going to be. Unless you can hermetically seal your country, please
Yeah.
let us know how you're doing it so the rest of us can do it.
Every developed country will get it, and the greatest fear is when it starts hitting the third world type countries. The people with a lot less, more dense, like India, and they have not so great healthcare systems, or some other countries like in Africa that have hardly any healthcare system. They cannot take care of something like this. Once it starts hitting these other countries, then you're going to see some massive outbreaks, and that's one of the greatest fears. Look at Iran. Iran got hit. One of the first Middle East countries to be reported on with this.
You're okay for you listeners. You don't believe what Terry said about the United States getting its medical supplies and drugs from China. This is just coming across the wire from the Daily Mail in the United Kingdom. Oh, by the way, I gotta use foreign press services because the U.S. media is so full of crap. You never know when they're lying. You never know when to believe their lying mouth. But anyways, the coronavirus outbreak has put the FDA safety inspections for medical devices and drugs from China on hold for 2 months. They warn of shortages of critical products in the United States. There you go. And there's 180 drug manufacturers that get their drugs from China. Guess what? They're not getting inspected. They're on hold until at least March. So what Terry's telling you is true. Listen to us. Get your supply catch in order now. You should have had it done 4 weeks ago.
We're soon going to start seeing shortages
Yes.
in a lot of different things. To start off with, it's going to be medical. Then you're going to start seeing shortages in other things. All these little toys for Johnny and Sally that are made in China are going to be a less, what do you call it? Less variety, I might say. All these, there's a lot of things that come from China.
Yes.
And Asia. So
it's our own damn fault.
Even South Korea is going to start hitting the same way.
Oh, great. That stupid ass. Oh, God. They should throw her from the plane. Gwyneth Paltrow has decided to go to Paris for Fashion Week, and she arrives in a face mask. You know what?
Yeah.
If you're so worried about it, why go to Paris? They've already had 2 deaths there. They got Fashion Week in full swing. Everybody's wearing a face mask there. You talk about somebody who's a media whore and is a narcissist and just has to get the attention. They should have thrown her off the damn plane over the English Channel. Here, swim it, baby.
I commented on somebody's post about Iran. I said, how they're getting an outbreak. I said, we need to send John Kerry over there and investigate. Yeah, let him go to fucking Iran again. I hope he stays there.
He needs to stay there. He likes it so much better.
So, anyways, what I'm saying is that if you need to, let me put this the right way.
Don't. Just say we'll deal with it later.
We need to start getting supplies now, and then more supplies will come in because, like I said, stores are getting just-in-time inventories. Get supplies now. If there's a run on it later, it's going to be too late.
You know what? The best time, because like Terry says, they're on a 3-day supply on demand schedule. I would suggest hitting the stores on a Monday or better yet a Tuesday afternoon, because then they get time to get their stock into the store and then they get time to put it out on the shelves. So I'm guessing Tuesday or Wednesday would be the best time to look for this stuff. All right? That's just my opinion. That's just what I've noticed. Terry, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, I mean, if everybody just starts running out to doing it, it's going to be empty shelves. And a whole lot, some people are going to get stuff, and a lot of people are not going to get anything.
Right.
But if we spread it out, here's the smart guys, the preppers, people that are actually taking this seriously. They're getting their stuff ready. The people who are not ready, the last minute kind of guys.
Oh yeah, and they're out there. They're out there.
Then we don't need to hoard, but let them get the last minute stuff. We're already taking care of our stuff beforehand.
How many times, Terry, have we said on this show, prep when times are good? How many times did we say it?
Yeah. Now's the time. Now is a step above that where we have a specific situation. It's not nuclear. We're not looking at shortages of food. We're not looking at economic collapse, but we are hitting close to it because the Dow is being hit like crazy.
And again, that's being driven by the supply chain disruptions.
Supply chain disruptions, and the knowledge that people have nowadays of knowing what is forecasted ahead of time, because we have on-time communications, immediate communications around the world. Not like 1918.
Right.
So 1918 also helped greatly in contributing towards the Great Depression.
It sure did.
And a lot of people don't add those two up, but it was a contributing factor towards our depression. So get supplies now. Do you need to spend your whole paycheck? No. Just start collecting some stuff, all right, and get yourselves situated where you have nothing, where you don't have nothing, you have something. You have something to help protect your family with.
Go to the dollar stores. That you're going to get more bang for your buck there. Go to the
Yes.
dollar stores. You can buy cases of canned food for cheap.
And another thing a lot of people don't say, soap.
Oh,
Soap is also very important. You need to be buying the big packs of soap like Sam's Club and stuff like that, because washing your hands, and they've done clinical studies on this, comparing washing your hands using hand sanitizers or just water or nothing, and washing your hands was more effective than hand sanitizers.
of course.
What's the greatest value is washing your hands and using hand sanitizers.
Oh.
And
it's true.
you know what I'm saying? And that's what we did. We did that. We washed our face. We washed our hands. We don't wash your hands first and then wash your face. And we did that. We did that while traveling through there, and when we came home, because cleanliness is a lot of people just don't factor that. They don't. I was going to say that. The cleanliness is overlooked a lot in preps. People don't. We say toilet paper, but
don't laugh.
Toilet paper is great. That has a purpose, but we need soap. We need soap, shampoo, things like that. Not conditioners. We need soap, shampoo. We need to stay clean so that we can stay healthy.
Right. Your personal hygiene is what will get you through this.
Right. And one of the greatest factors that they've found in the coronavirus, which is true with all virus infections, is that the healthier you are, the better your immune system is, etc., and then the greater chances that you can fight the infections. That's why the older people, like over 50, I'm over 50, or 50 and over, that are having a weaker immune systems, the older you are, the weaker your immune system is, because you don't have the...
Those are the people that are dying. If you have a compromised immune system, you are at risk of dying. Oh, by the way, the people who have survived the coronavirus, and there have been many, they say it's extremely painful just to breathe. And that you will want to die, but you won't.
I mean, it turns into pneumonia.
And that's hard enough. Pneumonia is hard enough.
Yes. A lot of fever and pneumonia, which is upper respiratory infections. And, that's what's really killing people. So, is the complications of the flu. Well, I've had pneumonia before, and I swear I was coughing my head so bad I thought my hand was just gonna pop off. It was crazy. I hated it so much. It was very painful.
What a stupid ass. For you listeners in Australia, I don't know who Jackie Lambie is. Oh, she's a goof. Apparently, she says, maybe the country will get lucky and it will spread here. She says she hopes the coronavirus wipes out the politicians in Canberra amid fears of a full-blown pandemic could unfold in Australia and cause widespread chaos. You know what?
That's stupid.
It's not funny. If you think it's funny, please tell me what's funny about it, because I don't see the joke in it. I don't think it's funny at all. Maybe it's me. I don't know.
Well, that's like these loons. There's been comments by people saying, if I get it, I'm going to go to a Trump rally. Well, you're a fool. You need to be taken out in the backyard and shot.
You know what?
Seriously.
No, you know what? If you're willing to do that, what else are you willing to do that you just haven't said? If you're willing to purposely infect a fellow human being based solely on political beliefs, What kind of a person are you?
Yeah. Well, okay. Let's look at it like this. On a real case scenarios, people that have AIDS and they purposely infected other people,
I remember
not
that.
telling them, and they've infected dozens of other people. They have AIDS, they know it, and they did it on purpose because they didn't say shit. That's that kind of selfish type person we condemn. So
Absolutely.
it is the same apples and apples. It's the same thing. It's the same apple.
It is.
You get the coronavirus that can kill, and which is extremely contagious, and you want to spread it out like that.
I
You want to be a mass murderer? That's who you are. You're insane. You're rabid dogs. You need to be taken out in the yard and shot.
About 4 weeks ago, Terry, when I started talking about this, and I said, you know what? The only way that China is going to be able to get a lid on this thing is they have to ruthlessly enforce their quarantine. And,
They are.
And I mean, if you break containment, you will be shot. Because you're a danger, not to yourself, but to everyone else around you. You've chosen to be selfish. And it's hard. I get it. When you're sick, you want help. I get it. But what's the cost? And are we willing?
I know.
And you know what? Here in the United States, we're not willing to do that. And it may, God forbid, it comes down to that.
Personally, I'd rather stay at home and die, and tell my family to leave.
Right.
Just send me some food every now and then.
Yeah.
I'd rather stay home and die, but for the good of you know me, for the good of the country, for the good of others, I'll sacrifice myself. I'll do whatever I have to do because
exactly.
it's not about me. It's about everyone else. I
know.
I would do whatever I had to do. Not everybody can honestly say that, to be honest.
And it's not, and it's only something that you have to do to take a personal inventory of what you can and are willing to do or not do.
And it doesn't mean you're a hero.
Oh,
it just means that you're being.
Shooter. We have an active shooter reported in Milwaukee at the Miller Coors headquarters. There goes your beer supply.
I mean, these people, I swear to God.
I know. How angry are you? How angry do you have to be? How angry? How selfish do you have to be to say, if I contract the coronavirus, I'm gonna go do whatever I have to do to survive? Yes, that's the proper mindset, but at what point is it diminishing returns? And I'm going to tell you right now, the United States doesn't have the will or the stomach to ruthlessly enforce a quarantine. If you're going to stop it, I mean, granted, if you got a compromised immune system and you're infected, chances are you're going to be cashiered. It's done. But if you're just sick, you know what? So you ride it out, just like the flu. You're going to be miserable, you're going to be unhappy, but you'll survive it. Now, Terry, when shall we do this again?
Well, I don't know. I guess when things break, when things get important, I wanted to get on there because I personally wanted to give my 2 cents on this, which is the same thing, really, as what you're saying and what a lot of people are saying. But I don't know. I think a lot of people need to start paying attention to this. I mean, not be scared.
No,
okay?
do not panic. This is something to be concerned about, but not panicked about.
We know before I left Thailand, I knew about, like I said, when there's a run on supplies in an emergency.
And you saw that in Thailand because the Chinese would light up everything there.
And I thought so. And I told my wife, I said, I want to go out to the medical district. They got like this university where they teach doctors and pharmacists and all kinds of stuff.
It's called
University, medical university, and alongside they also got like 2 city blocks of pharmacies and medical supplies and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So we went out there to look for masks, and I knew this was coming. So, but when I was there, that's when I saw, firsthand groups of Chinese going, either groups or families of Chinese going from store to store to store looking for masks. But luckily, I was ahead of them before they got them all. And but because by the time we left, they were all gone. They actually finished all their supplies.
And you talked to a pharmacist that was raised in New Jersey who now works and lives in Thailand, and he confirmed what you said.
Right. And when I was there, I asked all the store owners, including hardware stores, pharmacies, medical supply stores, general stores, everywhere. They all said the same thing. The Chinese were buying everything. They were hitting every single place they can find before they go back to China. Either they were buying it for their own personal supply and their family, or they were going to sell it because it's a black market, right? So when I was there, I talked to a pharmacist who went to America when he was 12 from Thailand, went to America when he was 12, grew up, became a pharmacist like his father, who is from Thailand, owns a pharmacy store in Thailand. And he came home on vacation like we were on vacation. Uh-huh. And while he's on vacation, he also works in the pharmacy with his parents. And we had a good talk. And we're talking about how there's such a run on supplies and stuff. And even hand sanitizer. Hand sanitizer was running out too. I didn't mention that. Not just the mask, but the hand sanitizer and gloves. Gloves like latex gloves. Uh-huh. They were also running out. But by the time we were done, before we left, which is only like hour and a half total on that city block, all those stores were empty. Luckily, we got there just in time. And I gave boxes. I bought boxes of it, and I passed them out to my family over in Thailand. And I said, keep looking for some when they get supplies again. But I want you to keep this for when things get bad. And keep it wrapped up in a bag, put it in a nice, clean, dry place. Keep it for when things get bad. Just like we say buy food for an emergency. And I had to educate people on, everybody on how to protect themselves and what to look out for. Especially my niece, she lives, or she works in the airport in the duty-free shop. Uh-huh. And I told her, I said, I gave her extras, and I said, I want you to be especially careful. Don't be close to no customers, and stay away from people, and do your job, come home, things like that. So, it's just like what I said. When there's an emergency, there's a run on supplies.
We've seen it. I reported on it. I've posted stories about it. Hong Kong was the first to show that people were actually physically assaulting each other with weapons for toilet paper. Yeah. Don't think it can't happen here.
I mean, seriously, people might say, well, we're not going to fight for toilet paper.
The hell you
Please.
Will.
The hell? You're talking about taking care of your young child, and you're going to let him or her live without toilet paper? And if you have a chance to get it, you're going to get it. If you're smart, you're going to get it. Because people fight over Tickle Me Elmo dolls.
We saw the Cabbage Patch Kids back in the 80s. A freaking doll.
People
won't happen.
People actually got killed for that kind of shopping.
Think about it. If they're willing to do that over a stupid doll 40 years ago, what makes you think they won't do it today over a roll of toilet paper. Now, granted, you could use baby wipes, and I would suggest using baby wipes because that's a bit more utilitarian than toilet paper. But the idea is still there. Think about it. Now,
So
I'll tell you what, Terry. When next time something comes up that's important, I will get a hold of you. We will do this again. This is important.
oh yeah. Let me say a few YouTube. I watch YouTube a lot now. I call it my YouTube university because you can learn almost anything on YouTube.
True.
There's a few YouTube pages I want everybody to start looking at. I do this daily. One is Arirang News. It's a Korean news agency. Mm-hmm. Arirang, Ariang, something like that. And they're from South Korea. Mm-hmm. There's another one which is great is from Peak Prosperity. PEAK Prosperity, 2 words. And this guy gets on there every day and he gives a report, and his field is in contagious diseases and stuff, and he does an excellent report every day. The WHO, the World Health Organization, no, they're out of their damn mind. They're the reason why this has gone so well. They have entertained and kissed China's ass so much that this is blown out of the water.
Right.
They don't hold China accountable the way they should. And why? Because the WHO needs funding for a lot of their programs.
Right.
And they go out and they beg countries for funding. And they get a lot of funding from China.
Right, that's
true. So, people think, oh, well, the WHO, the UN sent people to China to investigate. They didn't get closer than 20 miles from where this thing started, from where this thing was happening. They were outside the area. They never went in to check anything. They were just where the Chinese said that they can go or look at or people to talk to. So it was completely controlled. You're now seeing the true face of communist China.
Cathay Pacific Airlines has just laid off not laid off. They put 25,000 workers on unpaid leave. That's Cathay Pacific Airlines. Guess why?
Fox Business is now showing the coronavirus around the world.
It's on every continent.
Yeah, 81,000 total cases and 2,767 deaths. And we got 57 in the U.S., 11 in Canada. There's one in Brazil, and that's the only one in South America, Central South America. I noticed they don't say anything about Mexico, but there have been reports about Mexico.
I've seen those reports.
They're missing that.
It looks like a research team from Nankai University has shown the new virus has mutated gene similar to those found in HIV and Ebola, and it's more likely than SARS to bond to human cells. Guys, this is coming. And South Korea has recorded almost 300 new cases today. 300! But don't worry.
I mean,
the World Health Organization is out to kiss China's ass for money.
Yeah, ignore the World Health Organization. Believe me, they're...
Yeah, if anything, you know what? The CDC here in the United States is the premier health agency on the planet, followed by the National Institute of Health, NIH. They have some of the best immunologists on the planet, right here in this country. Now, I'm going to say something here. And Terry, you're going to agree with me. I know it. Any doctor or medical organization that tries to politicize this should be taken out and have their pension stripped from them, and they should join the unemployment line. There's no
Yep.
excuse for that.
Yeah, I mean, even to the point of having their license just taken away
Oh, absolutely. And
and go pump gas.
any politician that tries to politicize this coming up, this possible critical incident that's about to bestow itself upon us, if any politician politicizes it, they need to be ostracized and tossed because they've shown nothing but contempt for you and I.
Oh, there's one other thing I wanted to mention.
Go ahead.
And, well, it's a little self-promoting, but even though I'm not ready for it. We are now, because when the coronavirus hit, my cousin put something online about elderberry. And I was like, and I talked to my wife, I was like, yeah, we used to think about growing elderberry and this and that. And it got corona. And I started looking into it again. I was like, yeah, that's right. It's antiviral. It's just elderberry. They've done more clinical studies and things like this in the last 6 years that I looked at it before. Elderberry in clinical studies tested as good or better than Tamiflu. Tamiflu is a multi-billion-dollar drug that is stockpiled, literally stockpiled, strategically stockpiled by every developed country in the world because it is an effective antiviral drug. But elderberry, it costs like 1/10 or less than the Tamiflu, because elderberry, just the juice, right? Elderberry, when side by side with Tamiflu, on a 7-day basis of being infected with the flu, Tamiflu will help get you healed within 6 days of 7. But the elderberry is 3 or 4 days. You will actually get healthy faster with elderberry.
You know what? Put elderberry in your supply catch.
Yes. Go out or search for elderberry syrup. Okay. They also sell it in Walgreens as syrup and gummy bears.
Which one's more effective?
They're both the same. They're both the same. It's just one's in gummy bear form and one's in syrup. And they both work exactly the same. It's also under the name Sambuco, which is the scientific name for the plant, Sambuco nigra, which is black elderberry.
Black elderberry.
Right.
You're a racist.
Yes, I am. No, I'm not. And
we're going to hell for that one, I know.
Yeah, I know. Everybody knows me. Knows. Terry is not a racist. Terry don't give a shit what color you are.
That's right.
You're either smart or you're a dumbass.
Period.
I mean,
there are no other groups. Period.
Yeah. Believe me, I don't give it. Everybody knows I don't give a damn who you are.
That's it.
Or where you're from. Anyways, we're fixing to plant elderberry here on the farm. We're going to start a new elderberry operation, and honestly, there's good money to be made in elderberry. The demand and supply factors. We import 95% of our elderberry from Europe.
Really?
And the demand vastly outweighs supply. We need another 200,000 acres. So what we're doing is we're planting 1 acre this year, and then we're gonna use the cuttings from that and expand it out to 10 acres. And then after about 3 or 4 years of growth, we prove it can be grown. Here we know what we're doing. where, financial analysis, this and that. My degree is in business. And so it's like, we're going to go for a USDA loan, then we're going to shoot for a 100-acre plot. And we're going to buy 100 acres of land, and we're going to grow it, and we're just doubling down and make more money. And then I want to develop we have plans to make a disabled veteran type employment opportunities. So not just for guys that help us pick it and process it, which in some of those positions you could be in a wheelchair, but also for guys who want to get their own start out. They want to start growing it too. So we'll help them get developed and all that free, 100% free, and do everything we can for the next guy who wants to work for himself,
Well, you heard it
better.
right here first, folks. The Kaas plantation is now going to be in full swing.
You wouldn't believe it. I've had a lot of people ask me, "You're making elderberry wine? I want some elderberry wine." I'm like, well, I want to, yeah, because there's a lot to be said with. You can grow the fruit, you can sell the juice, but it's the value-added products is where you really make money. Like we have a freeze dryer, and I have another guy that I know that grows elderberry, and he freeze dries it, and he makes he doubles and triples his money by selling freeze dried juice instead of just a berry or just the juice. So there's lots of economic development that can happen out of this. I'm hoping that I can give people jobs and opportunity. I really am, because making money is great. Yes, I like money, but money is not my God, right? So we'll make opportunities for us, but I want to pass it along to help others. And
I'll buy from you.
yeah. And one of the products I like to do is make freeze-dried elderberry juice. And just like any other freeze-dried, just like coffee,
I was going to say, just add water?
Yeah. Freeze-dried coffee is coffee that was freeze-dried. And it's the same thing with the juice. You just add it into water and you got juice. Add in less water, you got syrup. And I want to sell it in packets so that somebody, mom or dad, could put it in their medicine cabinet. When Johnny comes home from school, because all kids are like Typhoid Mary, they all go to school and they infect each other. They infect each other.
Oh, good God!
Bring it home, and then they bring it home to mom and dad. So when Johnny comes home from school and he's starting to feel sick, immediately start giving him elderberry.
And you put him out the back door. He has to live outside until he's better.
Yeah. Just put a bed out in the garage and say, "I'm sorry, honey, but we're going to give you a nightlight, but you got to stay out here." Right. But like, and I think that there's opportunity for this.
All right.
But in the meantime, I suggest that people get a supply of elderberry, and if you get the syrup, I suggest get the syrup, and just or the gummy, and just don't open it. Okay, just leave it for when you feel sick, or you can take a teaspoon of elderberry every day because it helps to boost your immune system. And when you have the onset of feeling sick, immediately start a regimen of 3 times a day, 3 teaspoons a day. And that will help boost your immune system more and help to your body, help to also attack the virus itself. So I suggest people go out and get that.
Hold on. At Walmart. Everybody's got a Walmart easily. Sambuco, black elderberry, original formula. 4 fluid ounces, $9.24. There you go.
I know.
There it is.
I know it's not cheap.
I know.
But it's worth it. It's a lot cheaper than that Tamiflu, But if you want that average guy fighting chance that can't afford Tamiflu, but you can't afford elderberry.
I'm just telling you. I'm looking at some other stuff. You have the elderberry gummies, a 40 count, $9.48.
Right.
Elderberry immune defense syrup, 4 fluid ounces, $13.39. Boys and girls, this is affordable. And look at it this way. It isn't going to hurt you. If it doesn't do anything, it will do nothing to you. It won't kill you.
Yeah. Gummy bears are very easy. They actually taste good. They taste just like candy. If you have trouble giving medicine to your kids, gummy bears is probably the way to go.
Oh, I would, yeah. You got the natural sources, natural elderberry concentrate, $15. There you go. You could add 2 or 3 bottles to your supply catch, and you're done. You're ready to roll.
Also locally sourced honey. I said locally sourced honey. You don't want some of this sugar water like you get at some stores like Walmart. And you want locally sourced honey. Honey is also really great for upper respiratory infections with like the cough and stuff like that. Your mucus problems, your drainage out of your nose, things like this.
It's interesting you said that. The Honey Gardens elderberry syrup with apitherapy raw honey, $20.03.
Yeah.
There you go.
And
it's there.
And you can make medicine. There's lots of holistic ways that you can do these things.
Well, that's what Julie
that does work.
Julie Kinney, one of our who's in charge of our newsletter on CRN, she knows all about that stuff.
Right. So, like, in fact, I'm going to post some stuff, and we'll share it to the Contra Radio Network pages, and about how you can make some medicine.
You know what? I think that's an excellent idea.
Home remedies that work. I'm telling you, they work. When I got to Thailand, when we first got there, and I probably caught it through somebody in the airports, because it was like 2 weeks after I got to Thailand, I had the flu. And flu or cold, whatever it was, common cold or flu. But I felt like shit for a couple of days, and I started treating myself. There's a plant called star of anise, Anise, star anise, and you want to get the Chinese kind, not the Japanese kind. The Japanese kind is actually a little bit poisonous. And I started. You can make it like a tea. You put it in hot water and make a tea out of it,
right,
and you start drinking that. Star anise is actually one of the active components for Tamiflu.
I didn't know that.
Yep. All of these things are on the internet. I suggest if anybody wants to read up on these things, look up Tamiflu versus elderberry clinical studies. Also look up active ingredients Tamiflu.
Star anise. Yeah, post that on the CRN Facebook page.
I will. And when we were in Thailand, I bought a large bag of star anise because it's expensive. You want to buy it here, it's not cheap. But in Thailand, it's cheap.
Imagine that.
So I bought a big bag of that here, and I'm separating it and putting it in Mylar, for the future, because it's already dried. It's like a dry flower, is what it is. So I'm taking that and I'm separating them into, so I can save it for future. It'll surely last me a year, that's for sure. Well, then when I go back to Thailand, I'll come back. I want to bring some more. That way I have more for me and family and friends. When somebody gets sick, I'm going to make sure that's when I'm going to pass it out. So
There are a lot of recipes online for the star anise tea. You could add ginger
yes,
to it. You could add all kinds of. You could add cinnamon to it.
there's a YouTube video on how you can make some cold flu remedies with star anise, elderberry, lemon, cinnamon, and I believe they put honey in it.
Yeah,
But
look at it now.
and you boil it down and then strain it off and make cold remedies, cold and flu. Because that's what the cold is. The cold is actually a virus.
It's a virus.
So people don't understand that.
Oh, guess what? It's a virus we don't have. By the way, we still don't have a cure for the common cold virus. So guess what? Terry, I'm just seeing this. It looks like in the UK, the school where Prince George and Princess Charlotte go, they've sent everybody home, closed the offices, and they did it to defy the government.
Sometimes you just got to take measures in your own hands.
And that's what they're doing. And
and
like you said, for those of you that
just like the sheriffs,
yeah.
just like sheriffs. I just found out last night from one of my Army buddies. One of the guys I was with stationed down with in Panama is a sheriff in New Mexico, a sheriff in New Mexico, and he's defying the governor.
Oh yeah, and the governor sits there and says, "Well, if you're not going to enforce our red flag laws, you should resign." I got a better idea. Why don't they just perp walk the governor out the office?
Yeah, and I commented. I said, that governor has no power to take out sheriffs.
No.
That's voted in by the people.
No, they don't. Well, that's why I said, well, you should resign. Got a better idea. Why don't you resign? Because you have forgotten your oath.
Well, that's the difference between city and country, right? Country people and city people.
It is. All right, my friend. We went like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
This is
officially, and yet there's more. There's more to it.
There is. Officially, this is the longest episode ever I've ever done on Contra Radio Network. It's the longest show. I'm positive of it.
Well, hopefully we didn't lose anybody. Thank you for anybody who's stuck with us.
If somebody's still with us, we thank you for it. Terry, when something breaks, I'll get a hold of you, and we will make arrangements, and we will do this again. By the way, where is it? We've seen a very big uptick in our listeners in Canada and Australia. By the way, you two guys in Australia want to do that show? Get a hold of me. Get a hold of Julian. He'll get a hold of me. We'll get you guys set up in Australia. We've had big uptick in listenership there. And also in Colorado and Idaho. Thank you, listeners. They're massive listening right now. So welcome to CRN. Feel free to join the Contra Radio Network Facebook page. I will approve you. Just tell me you're a listener. That's good enough for me. What's working now? Multiple people shot in an active shooting at the Miller Coors complex in Wisconsin. There you go. If they're willing to kill for beer, they're going to kill for toilet paper. Anyway. All right, my friend. Thank you. Like I said, as soon as something comes up, we'll get ahead. We'll do this again. Thank you, listeners. You are part of the intelligentsia because you're smart enough to listen to us. Tell your friends. Get those supply catches up to par. You must.
Yeah, get it before the prices go up.
Absolutely.
Or there's nothing left.
There you go. Final thoughts, Terry?
Well, God bless America and long live the Republic.
Long live the Republic. Until next time, I'm John Jeffers here on the Jeffers Brief, only on Contra Radio Network, a special edition with my good friend and colleague, Terry Kaas, out of the great state of Missouri. Until then, we'll talk to you next time.